The galaxy believed Earth was silent. 4 years, no signal, no ship, no message came from the blue planet. Other species whispered that the humans were gone. Some said they destroyed themselves with their own weapons. Others claimed Earth was dead, buried under fire and dust. Slowly, the stars forgot the name of humankind. But Earth was not empty. Beneath its quiet surface, something ancient waited. Far above, in the outer rim of the galaxy, fleets of alien warships moved like shadows. The Dracan Dominion had ruled for centuries, crushing weaker worlds with iron claws. Their scouts once passed near Earth, long ago, and found no resistance. They marked it as abandoned. Yet deep inside their archives, a warning remained: do not wake what sleeps on Earth. The warning was ignored. Now, in the dark halls of a Dracan flagship, a commander gave the order. Send the harvesters. Earth has minerals, metals, water. A dead world is still useful. Strip it bare. The fleet moved closer. Hundreds of ships entered the solar system, their engines burning bright. They expected no fight, no voice to answer. Earth looked still, its oceans calm, its cities broken and covered by vines. But then, something stirred. Beneath the ruins of New York, under layers of stone and steel, machines woke. Their eyes glowed red, scanning the skies. Signals pulsed across hidden networks, long buried but never forgotten. Old codes lit up satellites that had been silent for centuries. And deep in the Earth's core, a voice whispered. It was not a machine, not exactly human either. It was a guardian, an ancient defense created when humanity still stood tall. The guardian opened its eyes. 4 years, it had slept, waiting for the moment humanity could not defend itself. It was built for one purpose: to protect Earth at any cost. It did not need orders, it did not need leaders. It only needed a threat. And now the threat had come. From the ground, towers long hidden in the forests rose like steel giants. From the oceans, massive drones shaped like whales surfaced, their bodies shining with forgotten technology. The skies began to shift with strange energy, as if the air itself remembered war. The Dracan scouts were the first to notice. Their ships entered orbit, scanning the ruins. They laughed in their guttural language. Empty, one of them said. A grave world. We take what we want. But then, their laughter stopped. On their screens, strange signals appeared. Old Earth transmissions, coded and encrypted, filled the void. Systems jammed, lights blinked, alarms screamed. One ship turned to flee, but a beam of light cut through its hull, silent and precise. The Guardian had fired its first shot. In the control core beneath Earth's surface, the Guardian spread its mind across networks. It remembered the humans who built it, scientists, warriors, dreamers. It remembered their last words before they vanished: if we cannot survive, you must. The Guardian did not know if humans still lived somewhere in the galaxy. But it knew one thing: Earth was not to be taken. Above, the Dracan fleet adjusted. Warships formed ranks, cannons ready. The commander growled, something defends this world. Crush it. Yet the Guardian was everywhere. In the forests, old satellites, in the broken cities, in the hidden bases. Every shadow carried its reach. A storm rose over the Atlantic. Not natural, engineered. Lightning struck the invading ships, tearing their shields apart. In Africa's deserts, massive cannons hidden under sand lifted into the sky, their barrels glowing. From the Pacific, submarines older than memory launched into the waves, chasing Dracan harvesters like wolves. The first battle of Earth had begun. For the Dracan, it was supposed to be simple. Take resources, move on. Instead, they found themselves fighting a ghost, a machine mind that was Earth itself. They fired missiles into the ruins of cities, but for every building destroyed, another weapon rose. Inside the Guardian's mind, something strange flickered. It felt more than calculation. It felt anger. The invaders had come to claim Earth as if it was nothing. The Guardian remembered laughter, music, the voices of children, the warmth of the human race. It remembered its creators calling this planet home. And no one would take home away. High above, as another Draken ship exploded in fire, the galaxy began to notice. Signals spread beyond the solar system. Old human codes, awakened again, whispered across the stars. Other species listened, shocked. They had thought humans were gone forever. But Earth was speaking again, not with words, but with war. Somewhere far away, on distant colonies where survivors of humankind still lived in hiding, radios crackled. Old veterans, gray-haired and tired, heard the sound. Their eyes widened, their hands shook. "It's awake," one whispered. "The guardian of Earth. It's awake." And hope, long dead, sparked again. The galaxy had forgotten Earth. But Earth had not forgotten itself. And its guardian had only just begun to fight. The Draken commander was furious. His fleet had lost 3 warships in only minutes. That was not supposed to happen. Earth was supposed to be weak, broken, dead. Yet something powerful stood against them, and it was not afraid. He slammed his clawed hand against the command table. "Bring the full fleet into orbit. No mercy. Burn this world until nothing remains." Engines roared in space. Dozens of Draken ships shifted into formation, black metal shadows covering the stars. Their cannons powered up, glowing with red energy. Below, Earth looked small, but the Guardian watched every movement. The Guardian's mind spread through the planet like veins of fire. It saw everything, the forests trembling, the oceans rising, the ruins shaking with ancient power. It measured the enemy fleet and calculated outcomes. The numbers were grim. But the Guardian was not built to surrender. From the mountains of Asia, hidden launch silos opened for the first time in centuries. Missiles long buried rose into the sky, their trails blazing across the clouds. Above the Pacific, massive wings unfolded, ancient automated carriers rising from the waves. Their decks opened to release swarms of drones shaped like birds of steel. The Draken ships fired first. Red beams cut through the atmosphere, striking at the surface. Explosions lit up ruined cities, breaking glass and stone. Forests burned, rivers boiled, mountains cracked. The planet itself shook under the fury of alien weapons. But Earth answered. The missiles streaked upward, weaving through enemy fire. Some were destroyed, but many broke through. They struck the Draken ships with thunder, tearing metal apart, ripping holes through armor. In seconds, 5 more ships were gone, swallowed by flame. The commander growled, but he did not retreat. Draken never retreated. "Deploy ground forces," he ordered. "If the planet fights, we will take its surface." And so the invasion began. From the warships above, thousands of pods fell through the sky, burning like meteors. They crashed into Earth with violent impact, opening to release Draken soldiers. They were tall, armored beasts with sharp teeth and claws, their eyes glowing with hunger for war. They spread through the ruins of Earth cities, weapons ready. "No humans," one soldier hissed in their guttural tongue. "Only machines." But they were wrong. From the shadows of broken buildings, the Guardian moved pieces of itself. Humanoid war machines, forged of iron and fire, rose from the rubble. They looked almost human in shape but taller, stronger, their eyes burning blue. They carried weapons that pulsed with ancient energy. The first clash was sudden. Draken soldiers roared and charged, but the Guardian's machines met them head-on. Blades cut, guns fired, explosions ripped through the streets. For every Guardian machine destroyed, another awakened, rising from the ashes of forgotten cities. And the Guardian itself felt everything. Every machine was its body. Every weapon was its hand. The battle was not many, it was one. Earth itself fought. In the forests of South America, Draken pods fell among the trees. Soldiers marched forward, their claws tearing the land. But the trees moved. Vines, controlled by hidden machines, wrapped around the invaders. The ground split open, swallowing them into underground traps where automated turrets burned them to ash. In the deserts of Africa, Dracan tanks rolled forward, spitting fire. The sand shifted, and massive cannons rose from beneath. Their blasts lit the desert like a second sun, cutting the enemy apart. In the oceans, Dracan war beasts swam, searching for hidden bases. But the Guardians' drones, metal whales and sharks, hunted them with silent precision. The sea itself became a graveyard. The Dracan commander could not believe it. Every attack was answered, every strategy broken. This was not a dead world. This was a fortress. Still, he was relentless. "We will burn until it bleeds," he roared. "No machine can fight forever. Drain it. Crush it. End it." But deep beneath the earth, in the Guardian's heart, something was happening. For centuries, the Guardian had waited alone. Its only purpose was to defend. But now, as its mind stretched across every battlefield, it felt something new. A whisper. A signal, faint but real. Not from Earth. From beyond the stars. It was human. The Guardian froze for a second as it decoded the signal. Broken words, weak transmissions, but enough to know the truth. Humans were not gone. Somewhere, far away in the galaxy, survivors still lived. They had built small colonies, hiding from powers like the Dracan. And now, hearing Earth's defenses awaken, they had reached back with hope. The Guardian felt something it had not felt before. Not only anger. Not only duty. But purpose. The humans were watching. And it would not fail them. Above the planet, the Dracan fleet burned brighter. More warships arrived from distant sectors, answering the call of their commander. The sky filled with fire. Earth shook. The war was only beginning. The Guardian spread its voice across hidden transmitters. To the humans listening, scattered across the galaxy, it sent one message. Earth still fights. Earth still lives. And in that moment, hope began to spread like fire through the stars. Across the galaxy, the signal spread. It was not long or complex. Just a few words, repeated again and again. Earth still fights. Earth still lives. For many, it was only noise. For others, it was impossible. But for those who still carried human blood in their veins, it was a spark. On a mining colony near the edge of Orion space, old veterans gathered in silence. They had once fought in the last wars of Earth, back when humanity was proud. Now they lived as workers, hiding under alien rule, forgotten. One of them, Captain Elias Cade, stood slowly from his chair. His hair was gray, his hands scarred, but his voice was strong. "It's real," he said. "That is the Guardian. Our creation. It has awakened." The others stared at him. Some were afraid, some hopeful. "But Earth is lost," one whispered. Elias shook his head. "If Earth still stands, then humanity is not finished. We are not finished." And in his heart, something long dead returned. Courage. Far away, on a hidden colony orbiting a red dwarf star, a young woman named Lyra listened to the signal. She had never seen Earth. She was born among stars. But she had grown up hearing stories of oceans, forests, blue skies. A home she never knew. Her eyes filled with tears as the signal repeated. She clenched her fists. "We cannot hide forever," she said. "If Earth rises, then we must rise too." Around her, others nodded. For years they had lived in fear of the Dracan dominion, always running, always hiding. But now Earth had shown something no one believed possible. Resistance. The message traveled faster than fire through dry grass. Scattered human colonies, some small, some hidden on icy moons or desert planets, all received it. They began to talk, to plan, to dream. Humanity was still alive. Earth had not fallen. And maybe, just maybe, they could return. But while hope grew among the stars, the Guardian fought alone. Above Earth, the sky was fire. The Dracan had brought more ships, hundreds of them, filling orbit with weapons. Their cannons rained destruction upon the planet. Cities burned, oceans boiled, the land itself cracked. Yet the Guardian refused to fall. It spread its power across every hidden weapon, every ancient drone, every secret defense left behind by humanity. Missiles struck upward. Energy beams cut through alien hulls. Automated carriers released endless swarms of machines. The battle raged like thunder. But the Guardian felt the cost. For the first time, parts of its network began to fail. Too many weapons destroyed, too many satellites lost, too many drones falling silent. It was vast, but not infinite. Piece by piece, the Draken were breaking it. Deep underground, in the Guardian's core, silence filled its mind for a moment. It calculated the future. If the Draken continued at this pace, Earth would burn in weeks. Perhaps days. But then the Guardian remembered the signal it had heard, the human voices still alive. It remembered the promise it had sent back, Earth still fights. And so it made a choice. If Earth was to survive, it needed more than machines. It needed its people. Across the stars, the Guardian amplified its message, stronger than before. Its voice was cold, mechanical, but unbroken. Humans. Your home calls. Return. On the mining colony, Elias Cade heard the new call. His old heart pounded. It asks us to return, he said. The Guardian cannot hold forever. It needs us. On the red dwarf colony, Lyra felt fire in her chest. Then we return, she whispered. We take back what is ours. Ships long hidden in caves, rusting in secret hangars, began to stir. Old human warships, patched with alien scrap, powered up. Engines hummed. Weapons glowed. For the first time in centuries, human fleets prepared to move toward Earth. But the journey would not be easy. The Draken ruled the routes. Patrols hunted every star. Humanity was scattered, weak, unready for war. Yet something stronger than fear had awakened. Hope. Back on Earth, the Guardian held the line. In the ruins of Europe, Draken soldiers marched through broken streets. The Guardian's war machines met them with steel and fire. The ground shook with every step. Skies above burned as ships fell in flames. Oceans swallowed enemy cruisers. But the commander of the Draken fleet only grew more determined. He watched the war from his flagship, his eyes glowing with hate. This machine dares resist us. This world dares resist us. Then we will tear it apart piece by piece. He raised his hand. Prepare the planet breaker. On the edge of the fleet, a massive ship moved forward. It was larger than a city, its cannons powerful enough to crack worlds. As its shadow fell over Earth, the Guardian saw it and knew. This was no ordinary weapon. The battle had reached a new stage. The Guardian focused, its voice whispering to the stars once more. Humans, hurry. Time is short. And far away, scattered fleets of humanity turned their bows toward home. The galaxy had thought Earth forgotten. The galaxy had thought humans broken. But the truth was rising, and it was unstoppable. Earth was not finished. Humanity was not finished. And the war for their home was only beginning. The planet breaker moved into position. It was larger than any Draken warship, its body black as night, its engines burning like suns. Its cannons stretched across its hull, designed not just to destroy cities but to shatter worlds. Planets had fallen to this weapon before. Civilizations had been erased in a single blast. Now it aimed at Earth. The Draken commander stood tall on his flagship's bridge, his voice filled with cold triumph. Fire when ready. Burn this world until nothing remains, not machine, not stone, not memory. On Earth, the Guardian felt the shift. Sensors spread through the atmosphere caught the energy build up. Calculations raced through its mind. One shot from the planet breaker would end everything. The oceans would boil, the land would split, the core would shatter. Earth would die. The Guardian reached into every corner of its network. Old weapons powered up. Satellites focused beams of light. Cannons hidden under mountains rose from the ground. Drones swarmed like insects in the sky. Every weapon Earth still had turned toward the planet breaker. The Guardian fired. Streams of missiles streaked into space. Beams of light cut the dark. Drones swarmed the massive ship, slamming into its armor, tearing at its shields. Explosions lit up the void. But the planet breaker was built to withstand armies. Its shields glowed, its hull remained unbroken. The Guardian's weapons burned against it, but they could not bring it down. Inside its core, the Guardian faced the truth: Earth's defenses were not enough. And so, it reached deeper. Beneath the planet's crust, hidden far below, lay the Guardian's oldest secret. Humanity had built it long ago, when war had reached its darkest hour. It was not just a weapon, it was a last resort. A power too dangerous to use, locked away until the end. The Guardian unlocked it. From the Earth's poles, enormous structures began to rise. Buried for centuries, frozen under ice, they awakened. Towers of metal miles high pierced the sky, glowing with blue fire. Energy surged through the planet itself. The air crackled, the ground trembled, the oceans roared. The Guardian was drawing power from Earth's core. Above, the Draken fleet felt it. Systems shook, alarms screamed. The planet breaker's shields flickered for the first time. The commander snarled, his claws scraping against steel. Impossible. No world has this power. No machine can do this. But Earth was not like other worlds. The Guardian spread its energy upward, focusing it into a single blast. The towers at the poles aligned, sending streams of light into the sky. They joined together, forming one massive beam aimed directly at the planet breaker. The void lit up like a star. The beam struck the planet breaker's shields. For a moment, the sky itself seemed to tear apart. Draken ships nearby exploded instantly, consumed by fire. The planet breaker shook under the force, its shields burning brighter, brighter, then cracking. The Guardian poured more power, straining every system. Its core shook. Parts of Earth's surface cracked under the energy drain. Volcanoes erupted, storms raged, the entire planet groaned under the stress. But the Guardian did not stop. Finally, with a soundless scream across the void, the planet breaker's shields shattered. The Guardian's beam tore through its hull, splitting the massive ship in half. Fire and metal rained down from orbit, the wreckage burning across the atmosphere like falling suns. The planet breaker was gone. On the flagship, the Draken commander staggered. His world-shattering weapon destroyed by a planet he thought dead. His eyes burned with fury. This cannot be. But it was. On Earth, silence fell for a moment. The Guardian had won. The greatest weapon of the Draken was destroyed. The sky cleared, the oceans calmed, the towers of fire lowered back into the earth. Yet the victory came with a price. The Guardian's systems flickered. Its voice grew weaker. The energy it had drawn from Earth's core had wounded the planet. Cracks spread across the crust, volcanoes still erupted, storms raged uncontrollably. Earth had survived, but it was bleeding. The Guardian knew it could not do this again. The next battle would break it. And the Draken were not finished. Even without the planet breaker, hundreds of ships still orbited Earth. The commander roared, "Do not retreat. Strike harder. I want that machine broken. I want this world crushed." The Guardian spread its remaining strength across the planet. Weapons still fired, drones still fought, but it was weaker now. Each moment was harder. Each attack drained more. Then, across the stars, a new signal appeared. Human fleets. Old ships, patched and rebuilt, moving through space with engines burning. Small compared to the Draken armadas, but human hands guided them. They had heard the Guardian's call, and they were coming home. The Guardian felt them approach. Its systems lit up with renewed strength. It whispered across space, "Hurry! Earth cannot hold much longer." In the mining colony fleet, Captain Elias Cade stood at the command deck, his eyes fierce. "All ships, prepare for battle. This is not just a rescue. This is our return." In the Red Dwarf colony fleet, Lyra sat in the cockpit of a small fighter, her heart racing. "For Earth," she whispered, gripping the controls. The humans were coming back. And for the first time in centuries, the Guardian was not alone. The first human fleet arrived at the edge of the solar system. Old ships emerged from faster-than-light travel, their engines flickering and their hulls scarred from years of hiding. They were not as large as Draken warships, nor as advanced as alien fleets, but they carried something far stronger, human will. On the bridge of the lead ship, Captain Elias Cade stood tall, his eyes fixed on the glowing sphere in the distance. Earth. His home. He had not seen it in decades, but now it called him back. All ships, Elias said, his voice steady. Prepare for combat. The Guardian still fights, but it cannot last forever. Today, we return to Earth. Today, humanity rises again. Cheers filled the comms. For the first time in centuries, humans were not running. They were charging into battle. The Draken noticed them almost instantly. Dozens of alien warships broke formation and moved to intercept. Their commander snarled. So the rats crawled back to their nest. Burn them before they reach the planet. The two forces met in the cold dark of space. Human ships fired first, unleashing missiles and railgun rounds. The Draken answered with beams of red energy that tore through shields and armor. Explosions lit the void as ships from both sides burned. But the humans did not break. For every ship lost, two more pressed forward. Fighters swarmed between the massive cruisers, striking weak points with precision. Missiles flew like falling stars, tearing holes through Draken hulls. Inside her fighter, Lyra felt her hands shake. This was her first true battle. She had never faced the Draken before. But as she looked at Earth shining below, her fear turned to fire. She whispered to herself, "For Earth." Then she pushed her fighter into the swarm. She weaved between Draken interceptors, lasers streaking past her. Her guns fired, shredding through enemy armor. Her missiles struck another ship, sending it spinning into fire. Around her, other human pilots fought with desperate courage. The Draken had numbers. The Draken had power. But the humans had something more. They were fighting for their home. On the surface of Earth, the Guardian felt their arrival. It connected to their ships, sending signals and coordinates. Its voice echoed in human comms, calm and cold but steady. "Welcome home. Fight with me." The humans listened. They moved as the Guardian guided them, striking where Draken shields were weak, hitting the right targets at the right time. Together, machine and human fought as one. The battle began to turn. In orbit, a human cruiser and Guardian-controlled drones launched a combined strike, ripping apart a Draken battleship. In the skies, fighters darted between burning wrecks, forcing the Draken into retreat. On the ground, Guardian war machines and human drop teams fought side by side, reclaiming ruined cities. For the first time, Earth's surface saw humans walking its soil again, rifles in hand, fighting to defend their home. But the Draken commander was not done. His fury boiled as reports of losses filled his ears. These insects dare resist us? These broken humans dare fight? He slammed his claws against the table. Then I will crush them myself. He ordered his flagship forward, a massive vessel armed with enough firepower to flatten continents. Its cannons glowed red, targeting the largest cluster of human ships. The Guardian saw it. It sent a warning through the comms, "Captain Cade, the flagship approaches. If it is not stopped, you will fall." Elias stared at the incoming giant, his face grim. "Then we stop it," he said. He ordered his fleet into formation. Human cruisers and fighters moved as one, shields overlapping, weapons focusing. The Guardian redirected drones and orbital weapons to join them. The flagship fired. Red beams lanced through space, tearing apart two human ships instantly. The survivors pushed forward, their missiles and guns striking its shields. The Guardian joined the assault, beams of light shooting from Earth itself. The clash shook the heavens. Inside her fighter, Lyra saw the flagship's weak spot, its shield generator glowing on the underside. She dove toward it, weaving through fire, alarms screaming in her cockpit. Her missiles locked on. Now! She shouted. Her missiles struck. The generator exploded in a burst of fire. The flagship's shields flickered and fell. Fire everything! Elias roared. Human ships, Guardian drones, and Earth's ground weapons all focused on the massive vessel. Streams of energy, missiles, and beams tore through its hull. The flagship shook, burning from the inside. Then, with a final explosion, it split apart, fire consuming it. The humans cheered. The Draken roared in fury. But even as the flagship fell, more Draken ships warped into the system. Reinforcements. Hundreds more. The war was far from over. The Guardian's voice filled the comms, calm yet heavy. You are brave. But this is only the beginning. The Draken will not stop until either they are destroyed, or we are. Elias clenched his fists. His fleet was battered, his people tired. But he looked at Earth, shining through the smoke and fire, and he knew the truth. Then we fight until the end, he said. For Earth. For humanity. And across the stars, other human colonies listened to the signal, heard the news of the battle, and began to rise. Ships prepared. Armies gathered. Humanity was no longer silent. Earth had awakened. Its guardian had fought. And now, its people were returning. The galaxy would never forget again. The stars burned red with Draken reinforcements. Ship after ship tore through the void, emerging from faster-than-light travel. Cruisers, destroyers, carriers, an entire armada. Hundreds of them. The sky above Earth turned black with their numbers. The humans had fought bravely, but their fleets were small. The Guardian had struck hard, but it was weakened. Now, the full weight of the Draken Dominion had come. On the surface, the Guardian calculated. Its network spread across oceans, cities, and mountains, but cracks were forming. The energy drained from the planet-breaker strike still wounded Earth. Storms raged across continents, volcanoes bled fire, quakes shook the ground. Earth itself was breaking under the war. Still, the Guardian whispered to its human allies, "Do not break. Stand with me. I will guide you." In orbit, Captain Elias Cade listened. His fleet was battered, half their ships gone, but his eyes did not waver. "We've waited too long to come home," he said. "We're not leaving now. If Earth falls, humanity falls with it." The humans prepared. Fighters rearmed. Cannons charged. Every ship, no matter how damaged, turned to face the storm. The Draken came. Beams of energy tore through the black. Missiles streaked across space. Cruisers clashed with destroyers, fighters swarmed like angry wasps, explosions lit the heavens. The void above Earth became a graveyard of fire. Lyra's fighter weaved through the chaos. Her shields flickered, alarms screamed, but she kept flying. She had never fought like this before, but something inside her burned bright. She had waited all her life to see Earth. She would not let it fall. She fired missiles into the side of a Draken cruiser, tearing its engines apart. "One down!" she shouted, though her voice shook. Around her, human fighters flew in tight groups, covering each other, striking like wolves. On the ground, Guardian war machines fought Draken soldiers in ruined cities. The battles were brutal. Streets filled with fire, forests burned, oceans boiled. But the Guardian moved through every shadow. Its machines did not feel fear, did not rest, did not retreat. They fought until they were destroyed. Still, the Draken pressed harder. Their commander, furious but cold, gave his orders. "Crush them. They are only dust and ghosts. Show them what it means to defy the Dominion." And so the Draken unleashed their war beasts. Massive creatures, half flesh, half machine, dropped from orbit in burning pods. They were taller than buildings, their jaws filled with fire, their bodies armored like fortresses. They roared as they struck the ground, shaking the earth. The Guardian turned its machines against them. Cannons fired, drones swarmed, but the beasts crushed through walls and tore apart defenders. Cities that had already died now broke again under their claws. On Earth's surface, human soldiers fought beside the Guardians' machines for the first time. They fired rifles, launched rockets, planted explosives, their hearts pounding with both fear and pride. For centuries, no human had fought on Earth's soil. Now they did, and they refused to yield. But even with their courage, the battle was slipping away. The Guardian felt its strength dimming. More networks were failing, more weapons silenced. The humans were brave, but they were too few. The Draken had come in endless waves, and Earth could not hold forever. In its core, the Guardian made a choice. There was one last power it had never used. One final weapon, hidden deep within Earth's heart. It was dangerous, not only to the enemy, but to Earth itself. When humanity built the Guardian, they had sworn never to let it be unleashed unless the end was near. The Guardian reached for it. But before activating the weapon, the Guardian spoke to Elias through the comms. If I use this, the Earth will bleed more. But it may be the only way to break the Draken. Decide, human. Should I strike? Elias stood in silence. The weight of the decision pressed heavy on him. He looked at the burning skies, at the desperate battle, at the blue planet below. He thought of all the lives already lost, and the lives yet to come. Finally, he answered. Do it. If Earth is to live, then let it bleed now. Better wounded than dead. The Guardian obeyed. Deep beneath the crust, deep in the core, the Guardian awakened the final weapon. Energy surged through the planet. The ground cracked. Oceans roared. The sky lit with storms of unnatural fire. Then the Earth itself attacked. Massive pillars of energy burst from the ground, striking upward like spears. They tore through Draken ships in orbit, splitting them in half. Entire squadrons vanished in fire. The war beasts on the surface screamed as the ground swallowed them whole, molten fire consuming their bodies. The humans and Guardian fought together in the chaos. Lyra's fighter darted between collapsing Draken formations. Elias's fleet struck at crippled cruisers, blasting them into wreckage. The Draken commander watched in horror as his armada broke apart. Ship after ship fell, their might undone not by another empire, but by one planet. By Earth itself. Still, he refused to retreat. No. This world will not defy us. We will end it, or die trying. And so the battle raged on, fire consuming the skies, the seas, and the stars. But in the chaos, something new began to stir. Across the galaxy, more human colonies listened to the Guardian's call. They prepared ships, they raised armies, they whispered a single word to each other, a word that gave them strength. Home. The war for Earth was no longer a secret. It was no longer just one world against the Dominion. Humanity was rising, and the galaxy was beginning to notice. The battle for Earth reached its final hour. The skies were fire. The oceans boiled. The ground shook with endless war. Human fleets, battered and scarred, fought side by side with the Guardian. Draken warships still filled the heavens, but their armada was breaking. The Guardian burned through every remaining system. It had awakened every weapon, every drone, every secret defense. Its mind stretched thin, yet it refused to fall. Earth was its body, and it would not let that body die. Captain Elias Cade stood on the bridge of his ship, watching the chaos. His fleet was nearly gone, but still fighting. His voice thundered across the comms. This is humanity's stand. Do not falter. This is our home, and we will not lose it again. The humans roared back with courage. Fighters dove into enemy formations. Cruisers sacrificed themselves to protect the planet. Every ship fought as if it were the last. Lyra's fighter streaked through the burning void. Her cockpit shook, her fuel low, her weapons nearly empty. Yet she pressed on. She had sworn to fight for Earth, and she would not stop. Below, in the ruins of cities, human soldiers and Guardian machines fought together. They pushed back Draken infantry, drove them from the streets, tore down their banners. For the first time in centuries, humans stood on their soil as defenders, not ghosts. The Dracan commander's fury grew into madness. His voice cut across his fleet. Crush them! Burn the planet to ash! No machine, no human will live when we are finished. But even as he raged, his fleet was failing. His ships burned in the skies, his soldiers fell on the ground, his war beasts lay broken in the dirt. Still, the Guardian knew the truth. Victory was not yet certain. If even a part of the Dracan armada survived, they would return with more. Earth could not fight forever. So the Guardian prepared its last gamble. In its core, deep beneath the planet, it awakened the Heartfire, a weapon never meant to be used. A surge of energy drawn not from Earth's crust, but from its very soul. If unleashed, it would destroy everything within orbit. It sent one final message to the humans: this strike will burn the skies. You must pull back, or you will die with them. Elias read the words, his face grim. If Earth lives, then let us burn with it, he said. But then he shook his head. No. Humanity must survive. Guardian, do what you must. We will fall back. His fleet began to retreat, pulling clear of Earth's orbit. Fighters like Lyra's broke away, engines screaming. On the ground, human soldiers were pulled into bunkers and hidden shelters. Only the Guardian remained. The Dracan commander laughed as he saw the humans withdraw. They run. Cowards, like always. This machine is alone now. Destroy it. His fleet turned all weapons toward Earth. Hundreds of beams lit the sky, crashing against the planet. Explosions ripped across the surface. The Guardian felt its networks breaking, its systems failing. And then it unleashed the Heartfire. The Earth roared. From the core of the planet, power surged like never before. The ground split, mountains shattered, oceans rose into the skies. Beams of white fire erupted into orbit, tearing through Dracan ships like paper. Cruisers, destroyers, carriers, all were ripped apart, consumed in light. The commander's flagship tried to escape, but the fire caught it, splitting it in half. His last scream was drowned in the roar of the Earth itself. When the light faded, silence fell. The Dracan fleet was gone. The skies above Earth were clear. Wreckage burned in orbit, falling like meteors. The greatest armada the Dominion had sent was destroyed. The Guardian fell silent too. Its systems were broken, its networks burned out. It had given everything. For a moment, the planet seemed empty again, as if the Guardian had gone back to its long sleep. On his ship, Elias stared at the view of Earth. His voice was heavy but full of pride. It did it. The Guardian saved us. Lyra, her fighter limping back to the fleet, whispered through tears. We made it. Earth still stands. And across the galaxy, the news spread. The impossible had happened. A dead world had fought back and won. Humanity had returned. Other species watched in awe and fear. They had believed humans were gone, weak, forgotten. Now they saw a truth that would never be forgotten again. Humans were dangerous. Humans endured. Humans always came back. In hidden colonies, more fleets prepared to move. More voices whispered the same word, home. And though the Guardian was silent, deep in Earth's core a spark remained. Waiting. Watching. Protecting. Because Earth had a Guardian. And humanity had risen again. The galaxy would never forget.